so now we're going to move over to our what we're all here for, right? What the main headliner for today is our coffee with a corporate, and we are just super excited to have Dwan on. And it's lovely to see your beautiful face, and I can't wait till I can see you in person. Yes, I'll even come over to University of Florida again to see you. But with that, Nancy, we're going to hand it over to you to engage in our conversation.
Beautiful. Thank you, Steph. So I am so thrilled to have Dwan Courtney with us. Dwan, I am a Seminole. So, you know, there's always been this friendly competition. I think in all the 4 years that I was in college, I probably went to 3 football games, but boy, were those fun.
Dwan, that means you need to speak more slowly.
Nancy, I didn't say that.
Yes, I didn't.
That okay.
But anyway, I'm so thrilled that my 3 nephews are graduates of UF. So
I want to throw this out. This is funny. So my husband is actually a Seminole fan. So I tell him, I said, you know, a house divided, but you know, happy house, happy spouse. So I just
wonderful. Well, we're thrilled you're here as part of our Coffee with the Corporate. And for those of you that are new to the Wednesday window, you know, once a month, we have a special guest on, one of our corporate partners and sponsors, to talk about opportunities in supplier diversity at their corporation or organization, in this case, at the university. So Dwan, why don't we start by you telling us how long you've been in supplier diversity and why you're passionate about it.
I would start off in all transparency. In comparison to some of my counterparts, I have not been in supplier diversity as long, but from a place of supplier diversity and entrepreneurship, I would say roughly about 8 years. And to kind of give some context to my passion, I just want to tell this brief story. So in my role of marketing communication specialist in this department, it was just from a general perspective of helping businesses to get connected at the institution. But I can recall one meeting I was about to have with a vendor and explaining, you know, how to do business at the institution, how to navigate, you know, all these different aspects, that there was just like this excitement about helping them. So it wasn't that business owner in particular, but it was just the idea of doing something that I felt was just so fulfilling. I would even go further and say that for me as an individual who was intrinsically motivated, I have to be a part of something that I believe in. So where my responsibilities are saying ABC, I will go a step further because I believe in it. You know, I love what I do because I believe what I do. So so it just makes things a lot easier. It makes it to where whoever I'm engaging on campus or the community stakeholders, that they can sense this excitement and, hey, you know, I believe in it. So, you know, maybe you all should jump on board too. That I love to tell the message of what small businesses can do at the institution as well as in our surrounding areas. So so it's a very fulfilling position, I would say, you know, in what I do at the institution.
Wonderful, very rewarding for you and for us. Wonderful, yes. Thank you. Yeah. So what's the process for becoming a supplier with the university?
So the process is actually pretty simple. So in recent years, we've changed the process to establish a working relationship with the department. You complete the supplier application, and then you become a supplier. But at the University of Florida, we have a decentralized procurement process. So that means that each department has their own purchasing power. And even within that department, you have certain, you know, representatives who will be at that point of contact. Now, I would say with the University of Florida, we have a presence in every county throughout the entire state. And again, with 600 different departments, it does afford a lot of opportunity, but it can actually appear a bit overwhelming. But nonetheless, the process is, if you identify a department that is saying, hey, you know, we want to work with you, or if you engage them and they're saying, okay, you all have a product or service that we would like to procure, it'll be as simple as you completing that supplier application, referencing that department, and you become added and you move forward with doing business with the institution.
Perfect. Okay, and So establishing the relationship, let's talk a little bit more about that. What are the kind of the best ways to do that?
I actually appreciated this this question because I know oftentimes business owners are saying, well, I want to work with that agency. Do you all have any opportunities? Which is the go-to question. But with UF being a preeminent institution, we've risen to number 6. We value innovation, ingenuity, thinking outside the box. And I would challenge suppliers, hey, instead of approaching the institution to say, like, what are the opportunities? Identify the different units, identify the academic or the administrative or the auxiliary units, look on their website because all of their information is available, and be bold and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to contact this department because I see that they have a potential problem that I feel our firm can provide that solution. One thing, I'll go a step further. So at UF, higher education institution, we have faculty members. And so we pride ourselves in the research funding these amazing faculty members generate. And so that is an opportunity for a firm to potentially reach out to the faculty member because, and let me break it down so you understand the potential. So within a college, you have maybe 5-6 different departments. Within one particular department, you could potentially have 10 different faculty members who have some type of purchasing authority or purchasing insight because maybe they've received money for a grant, maybe they're working on a project. We are looking to hire the best, so they're always staying on the cutting edge. So I think sometimes that is an aspect of higher education that sometimes businesses don't try to explore. Administration and auxiliary units, those things are a given, but I try to create that idea and to stir up that conversation because there is an opportunity for you to work with faculty members. And one of the selling points that I have for small businesses, and I must say that I have a level of respect for what business owners bring to the University of Florida, is that you bring a level of innovation and thinking outside the box. And why would a faculty member want to turn that away if you're coming to them with a potential solution or even an idea that can potentially catapult their career? So of course, I'm thinking big, but there's just a lot of opportunity. And so, and actually to go back to the question of, how to become a supplier, I would strongly encourage those who are interested in getting connected with UF, schedule an appointment with me. I would like to provide an overview as to how things operate at the institution. At that point, or even beforehand, you can say, hey, I've taken a look at some of the different UF departments. These are the ones that I'm looking at. And also prior to meeting with suppliers, I like to do my due diligence. Okay, so they've expressed that they provide these products and services. These are some departments I think would be a good fit. And even in us meeting and I'm providing you with an overview, we're able to discuss potential ideas outside of what you were thinking. So it's almost like an introductory, but like a brainstorming session, because when you approach it from different angles, it just increases your capacity to get connected with the institution. So just some of the things that I strongly recommend, and I call those introductory sessions that I have with small business owners as a way for me to help you navigate the institution. Because again, 600 departments, we spending roughly $1 billion a year. That is a lot. And so I feel like there's opportunity for small businesses to have a good portion of the pie to eat from. So.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. And so ladies, you heard it here. Dwan is encouraging you to contact her. She's got the
Yes.
inside scoop on
Yes.
the 600 or so departments. I think what you said about looking at faculty and their needs is incredible. That's the first time I've heard anybody go that deep with, in relationship to getting contracts. So take advantage of Dwan's kindness and, schedule an appointment with her. We'll put Dwan's contact information in the chat for you in a bit.
And can I add something, Nancy, about the faculty members? So the University of Florida is an open institution to where you can contact the respective units. Now, we do encourage that before physically showing up to the departments that you make contact by phone or by email, but all of the faculty members and their interests are on the websites. So if you visit these colleges, you visit the faculty members, what their areas of expertise, I feel like that is a pot of gold to say, hey, you know what? They're into microbiology. You know what? I just developed this software. That is a perfect opportunity. You can create an opportunity, and I'm probably jumping ahead, but those are ways that you should approach agencies, and most certainly the University of Florida, because of just the direction and our trajectory when doing business or just in evolving as a higher education institution. So.
And I would also add that, you know, because people do business with people they know, they like, and they trust, you actually want to start establishing those relationships before you bid on a contract, right? So
yes, that is great. Great.
Yeah. And you mentioned, Dwan, that you have a presence in every county in the state. So, you know, I encourage you ladies to look in your county. What is UF doing in your county, and start establishing a relationship that way.
Yes.
Okay, great. This is such great information. Thank you, Dwan. So let's talk a minute about certification. Is certification important, and what certifications do you recognize?
So at the University of Florida, it is not required that you are certified. However, I strongly encourage it. And I do anticipate that the institution will move in that direction. But let me be clear, it is not a requirement at this time. Now, in support of what you all were saying with WeBank, I strongly encourage it for a few reasons. It opens you up for opportunities with other agencies and other entities. It allows you to have access to opportunities that if you were not certified, you would not have access to those things. And honestly, with what your agency does, Nancy, the resources, the connects, the networking, and I think, Joanna, you said it's just like, you know, you're able to build this network, and you're able to get connected with other areas to open up. And I really appreciate the article, Joanna, that you read, because with what that firm was listing, because she had the certification, because she was, you know, had the opportunity to take advantage of that event with, I think it was at Tampa, Joanna?
The SBDC?
Right. And I'm sure that stemmed from having the certification. And so I would encourage you, even though it is not a requirement, please do that. Now, the certifications that we do recognize, and this is actually listed on our website under the eligibility criteria, we have the Women's Veteran, Service Disabled Veteran, Hub Zone, DBE, and there are a few certifying agencies. And I'll be more than happy at a certain point to put those links. That way it lists even those agencies that we approve or we recognize as certifying agencies for these respective certifications. So I would strongly encourage you, if you are not, and I'm assuming everyone that's on this call, or at least on this specific call are, but please take advantage of those opportunities, because outside of getting connected with the University of Florida, my goal is to help to connect them to other opportunities with other agencies.
Beautiful. And that's a nice segue to something I like to always share, is that the world of supplier diversity is very small. Okay. And Dwan has contacts in other organizations, with corporations, with groups she attends. And so you really want to, as you're establishing relationships, make a good impression, right? Make a good impression, so that when a colleague of Dwan's contacts her and says, I'm looking for someone who can help me with printing or marketing or XYZ, do you know anyone you can recommend? If she's got a relationship with you, then it's easy for her to make that recommendation.
I agree 100%. Yes.
Beautiful. And then as far as certifications are concerned, I want to remind everybody that it's never one and done. Okay, we like to think, we know that the WeBank certification is the highest, right? It's the gold standard. So if you get WeBank certified as a woman business enterprise, you have passed the most rigorous of all certifications. But don't just stop there. If you are a service disabled veteran, get that. If you're if you fall within one of the minority categories, get that. You know, Dwan mentioned the Hub Zone certification. That's all about your place of business and where you're at, right? So the more certifications you have, the better, because then the organizations, the corporations, the universities that you're trying to do business with can check off many boxes. And that's what they want to do, because they all have supplier diversity goals in the different boxes. So if you fit 3 boxes and a competitor bidder only fits 1, well, chances are maybe those 2 extra boxes will mean the difference between you getting that contract or not. So always remember to look for every opportunity that you can have to get certified beyond the WeBank certification.
Yes, and I would also like to add, not only does that increase your opportunity to do business with agencies and firms, but also business to business, because there may be a firm who has a strength in one particular area, but they may only have 1 certification, but they know with that bigger opportunity, maybe that agency is looking for a veteran-owned business. So if you are a minority-owned veteran and they are a hub zone, you all coming together to be able to move forward with that opportunity is something that both firms can capitalize on. So again, definitely think outside the box. No one and done. Let's move forward and try to get as many opportunities as possible.
Beautiful. And it's all about creating those strategic alliances and setting yourself apart, right? So, and creating relationships with people like Dwan will open your eyes to opportunities for strategic alliances, because she works with small businesses that might be able, with you and them, create an alliance that then will make for a much stronger bid opportunity, or a much stronger bid.
I agree.
Okay, beautiful. All right, so my next question, and you kind of touched on this, but let's elaborate a bit more. What's the best way to get noticed by your team?
I kind of started on it earlier by having a meeting with my area, because in providing an overview as well as discussing, what your interests are. As a department on campus, I have access to information to know what's going on with some of our internal units. Now, let me be clear, I'm not privy to every single activity, every project, but I can put you in direction or put you in connection with where the resources are for you to know, okay, well, you know what, if this is my particular area, I love media, well, let me show you where you can find all of the media related events. This is a perfect way for you to connect with faculty, student organizations who also have power at higher education institutions, as well as, faculty organizations. So there are just so many opportunities outside of just those procurement related or administrative units that you can really explore how your business can get connected at the agency. So in meeting with my department, and again, there are other opportunities outside of my unit, but being in a place to help you navigate and to know where the information is and potentially who to put you in contact with will give you an opportunity to leverage your interests at the institution, rather than just simply saying, you know what, I'm just going to do this thing on my own. Now, I admire that, but we're going to work smarter, not harder. So
beautiful, beautiful. And that reminds me, Dwan, to say a few words about the difference between supplier diversity and procurement, right? So a lot of people don't understand that there is a distinction between the supplier diversity department and the procurement department. And at its very most basic, the thing to remember is that supplier diversity, they are your advocates, okay? Meeting with Dwan and her team are going to inform them about you so that they can go back to the procurement team, the ones who actually sign the contracts and pay you. They will go back to them and say, oh, you're looking for XYZ. I know a WBE who provides those services. So think of Dwan and supplier diversity as your advocates. Procurement is one step removed. You could probably go straight to procurement, but you'd probably do better to start off with supplier diversity.
Right. And actually, I want to add to that, and also to give an example. So there was a department that reached out to my office to say, hey, we're interested in working with certain types of firms. So at that point, they knew of us. They had empowered us to go out and identify a firm based on what they were looking for, based on their interests. And sometimes it could be something as general as, you know, not even knowing the capabilities of the firm, them wanting to be in contact or knowing where to go to find these firms. So that's one opportunity that we have to help you to be successful at the institution. Another path that I'm taking is engaging the different units so that, like that department, they can reach out to us, or we can make that introduction on your behalf so that they're aware of the opportunities in working with small and diverse businesses. So I'm glad you mentioned that, Nancy, because when it comes to supplier diversity, and with my approach in returning to the institution, is really about changing that narrative. So when it comes to small businesses, helping them to understand that, yes, the business is small, but they're actually in a place they're qualified to do business with the institution, because quite honestly, we have a number of small businesses who are contracted with UF. And then even changing the narrative around supplier diversity. Supplier diversity is not about trying to give out freebies, but it's about ensuring equal access to these procurement and contracting opportunities. So in communicating that and letting or reassuring the UF departments that I am advocating for qualified small and diverse businesses, it helps to solidify the relationship for them to know that I have their best interests, even though I'm also advocating for small and diverse businesses. So it's building that collaborative effort or the collaborative relationship between UF departments, small businesses, and the community. So at least the community is aware of what we're doing, and that we're also being held accountable to meeting the needs of Gainesville and the surrounding areas. So
beautiful. And then I'm also reminded to do a shameless plug here that we are going to be promoting a capabilities statement challenge, a 3-day challenge on how to write a killer capability statement. So Dwan, can you say a few words about the importance of everybody having a capability statement?
It is so important. So again, as I mentioned, because UF is an open campus, you can directly reach out to that department. But I want you to put yourself in the shoes of that department where, quite honestly, if they're at a place where they don't really need your business, they already have a certain mindset. But if you present key information on your capability statement as to why they need to work with you, that is important. I would even go to a step further and say, if possible, try not to make a dissertation, because if people are looking at it, to be engaged and say, hey, you know what, I saw some key things. So this goes back to, if you've done your research, if you looked on their website and you see that they're working on ABC, tailor your capability statement to ABC. So there's a reason for them to contact you back. Don't send those general ones that can go to microbiology, economics, and the UAA with athletic association, because it's just going to be like a whole bunch of paper. And then sometimes you're like, people are not responding. I'm like, well, would you respond? So you just want to, think about it from that place, and just make sure that there is something about your capability statement that gives them key information as to why they should want to work with you, a reason why you are different from all the other firms. And just quite honestly, from an aesthetic perspective, make sure that it stands out. I would even also say that although it is not a requirement at the institution, departments are more inclined to respond to, okay, I see that there are certifications. I mean, you have your licensing for your respective areas, but okay, you are a certified business, because quite honestly, not every department is aware of supplier diversity, the actual term, but they know that we are here to help them get connected with small businesses. So just keep those things in mind. If you have not revamped your capability statement for the last 15 years,
And the challenge.
there are some softwares out there. You don't have to do Photoshop. Maybe you could do some Canva, just something to give it life. Because remember, you want to engage them because you want to get connected to them. They don't have to respond to you. So I just wanted to throw that out there. So in all, capability statements are important.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And we've actually identified during the challenge 12 sections or elements of a really great capability statement. So we're going to go through those over the 3 days of the challenge. And I see that Steph put the link to the challenge in the chat. And even if you have one, join us, because maybe we will, spark some ideas or some aha moments for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And let me, I want to add this too, Nancy. And I actually don't think it's a shameless plug that you all have these events and workshops, because what I would like to do in this process of just revamping and rebuilding our department is to make my department a resource for some of our partnering agencies with some of the things that you all have going on. Because though we may not be at a capacity where we can do all of these different workshops and all of these different segments, if our partners have those things going on, we want to add them. So my goal is before the end of the calendar year, once things get settled, that I'm reaching out to you all, including your information, SBA of North Florida, SBDC, so that in servicing the small business community, whether it's in Gainesville or whoever has access to our website, that they have a wealth of resources. And then, you know what, it may be in a better interest for them to follow up with you all. So that's my approach. And I recognize that our small business program may not be everything to every business, but my purpose, I'm going to be connected to whoever to say, hey, if we can't do it, let me point you in the direction of an agency that can help you. And I think that's the biggest picture, and for me, the most important, because I definitely want to see that small businesses are capitalizing on the opportunities and they're aware of the opportunities as well. So
beautiful. And you're definitely speaking our language, right? We always advocate that the more you're involved with partner organizations, the better for your business. And we are always talking about the importance of working on your business as opposed to working in your business, and getting out there and doing the networking now that it's much safer. Is really, really important. Again, people do business with people they know, they like, and they trust. And the more they see you, the more they get to know you, to like you, and to trust you. So great. Okay, so let's shift focuses a little bit, Dwan, and let's talk about current opportunities at the university.
So as of right now, there are no bid opportunities, but I would say that because we have a decentralized procurement process, and I know that you all are going to come with some amazing ideas as to how you can help us rise to number 5 place as top university, that is the perfect opportunity for you all to engage our units. So even though we are not completely open as a campus, if you reach out to or you identify a particular department, and I'll even throw this out there, if you research a particular department, you're a bit unsure as to how to effectively approach them, please reach out. I would love to have a meeting. I would love to figure out, like what I need to do. Because sometimes that happens, I have this great pitch, but I just need that extra nudge to get me in front of the right individuals. And I'll be more than happy to do that, or even to put you in contact with someone who can help you in being successful with that. So now, one of the things, and it almost slipped my mind. So we're working on a tool, is a bid opportunity portal, where one aspect will be from our UF contractors. They will have the opportunity to list their current UF projects, key information such as the services that they're looking for, the subcontractors, as well as when the information is due, and contact information to follow up with that respective UF contractor. And it's actually going to be posted on our website. And we're also creating an opportunity for UF departments. So with us creating our own supplier database for small business owners, let's say they search the database and they can't find a supplier that they're interested in working with. Through this portal, they can create, okay, this is our department, this is the type of supplier, these are our expectations. If you have those qualifications, please contact us directly. So these are tools that in my approach, and I'm going to digress, but it's all related, I recognize that many times suppliers, small businesses, don't have access to opportunities because they're not aware of what's going on. So I wanted to remove the barriers of, okay, well, I don't know what's going on, but no, we're going to create this portal, or, having the opportunity to be educated about how to navigate through the institution, which is where our introductory segment is coming from. And then also having access to these opportunities. So engaging the UF departments so that they are encouraged to invite small and diverse businesses to connect with them. So with this portal, that is the goal, something that we're going to be pushing in our newsletter. We're going to push to our partners such as WeBank, as well as some of the other agencies, so that they're engaging us a bit more and that they know that we have things available or opportunities available to help small businesses.
And I'm assuming that people would be able to upload or include some information from their capability statements into the portal, right?
So it will be, yes. And the
Beautiful.
key thing with the portal is to give the UF departments who will have access to this portal, as well as the community, give them an idea of who you are, your company's name, key information. That way they can review that information prior to reaching out to you. And what it does, it removes a middleman and makes things a lot simpler. But then it also at least allows them to say, hey, you know what? I remember I came across a firm who does ABC, and it's a great free way to market. So we're just trying to create those opportunities that removes a lot of the legwork, which ends up being barriers at times, and it makes something very relevant and immediate for you all to be able to get connected with the institution.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so our final question for you, Dwan, is can you give us an example of a successful supplier? Did they pivot their business over the past year in the pandemic? And how did they keep in contact with you?
So one supplier that comes to mind, and I hadn't asked them for that. There was one that came to mind, but I didn't ask them about how they had done during COVID. But I think their story would just really stir up a lot of encouragement and excitement. So there is a local small minority-owned firm, Mr. Paper. And so the firm was bought back in 1996. And so they actually have a list of different certifications. And so at the time, their revenue was roughly about 1.2 million annually. So they began doing business with the University of Florida. One of the things that really set them apart is that they provided quality work and superior customer service. And in them just handling their business, that was a perfect opportunity for UF leadership that also included the procurement director at the time to know of an opportunity for a potential partnership between this small local firm and a larger company, Office Depot. So through communications and through some level of advocacy from the UF leadership, there was a partnership that was formed, I want to say back in 2007. So things I want to highlight about the dynamic of this is that you had the small local minority-owned firms who had their certifications that solidified who they were and just the presence that they had as a small business owner. You had UF who had this interest of wanting to work with local small businesses, and not to say only local and small, but both local and small, wanting to promote those opportunities. And then you had the perfect opportunity for this large company to say, hey, we want to be able to partner with a local firm so that we can potentially get this contract with the institution. So everything was in the perfect position so that by 2007, that partnership was solidified. And in addition to that, and I'm just completely excited about this firm, the procurement director at the time said, hey, you know what? Pepsi is this national firm. They could potentially lose money by actually delivering to some of these smaller locals. Is this something that you all can take on? And that was another opportunity for them to be able to provide some additional service to the campus. So where they were, doing roughly about a million annually, they catapulted to over 9 million annually. So it was just this contract that was created. It actually opened up opportunity for them to do business with Moffitt, Florida Blue, as well as a few other agencies. And in staying engaged with us, they started off as proteges in our mentor protege program, and they've evolved to being a very valuable asset to our mentor protege program as a mentor. And then I would definitely want to highlight that their participation in our program is just stellar because they really believe in it, because when they initially got connected to the institution, they were really a protege, new to doing business, but through their engagement with our department, as well as getting involved and making connections, they've grown over time. So I just definitely have to highlight what they've done. They've maintained communication. They continue to grow. And from there, not just one and done with UF, they begin to expand to some of the other agencies. And oftentimes when, before COVID, traveling, I would see them at some of the events that we would market at. So it's just something that they're staying in a place to continue to be progressive and moving forward.
Sounds like they were also very open-minded,
Yes.
right, to looking at different opportunities, and from there connecting the dots. So I think that's a wonderful example.
Yeah.
So great. Well, that concludes our the formal part of our conversation.
So Dwan, thank you so much for this part. This has been amazing. A lot of commentary. You are so energetic, and that's why we just adore you.
Oh, awesome.
Thank you so much.